Hello everyone. Now we are family of three. I gave birth on 9th of August, and yeah, it was horrible first 4 days after we came from a hospital. Weather was absolutely terrible. It was so hot. It was plus 33 degrees Celsius. Honestly, I thought I will never ever will be able to make another video at any time because we were struggling, everyone, and the baby as well. So thanks God now it's nice weather, so now we are some sort of in a routine. Now I can find time to do stuff at home. I can find time to do stuff for myself. I found time even to apply makeup and yeah, now I can find time to do a video, especially if my husband is at home as well. I'm going to tell you shortly about my labor, exactly what happened and at what time. So my early labor started at night on the 7th of August, and it started like with the contractions, which were not even like contractions. It was just more like periodic pains in my pelvis area. So yeah, I called to the hospital and asked them, and they said, yeah, it seems like you have like contractions, so just keep an eye on them, and whenever they become whenever a contraction lasts 60 seconds and it's 3 minutes in between them, yeah, come to the hospital. Yeah, so that happened all day, and it wasn't like even close to those 3 minutes in between. So yeah, the funny bit is like when our neighbors came like to talk and everything, like to have a little chat, it was so hard to hide it, especially like when contraction was coming, because they came in the evening, and in the evening my contractions were already stronger and more often. Once I was lucky, so when neighbor came and we were talking, so that was exactly like in those 20 minutes in between, so I was lucky, and the other time I wasn't. But so I had to like, yeah, kinda. Then I was using a birthing ball as well in that day, and I used it before during my pregnancy, just bouncing on it because I found like it helps with the back pain. Same with contractions. If you're bouncing on a ball, it gives you a little bit of relief, and as well as they're saying it keeps you going, so it actually might lead you to the active labor quicker. So that's what I was trying to do, as well as in the evening, because I didn't want to go to sleep, because I was thinking, that's it, I'm in labor. I'm in labor, I'm not going to bed. So yeah, in the evening I told my husband, let's go for a walk, and we went for a long walk, like 1.5 hour long walk, and that's when my contractions became more often, like every 10 minutes, and I was actually walking with the phone and like taking time, how long is a contraction and how long time is in between. So yeah, crazy. Then we came back after walk. I took a shower, and actually shortly after that my waters broke. I called, husband was like, oh, let's go to the hospital, let's go to the hospital. I said, let's call them first. We did call them first, and they said, yeah, just still stay at home and just wait until contractions are every 3 minutes and last 60 seconds, and if that doesn't happen in few hours, just give us a call back. But in literally like few minutes, my contractions were every 2-3 minutes. I think lasted a minute or maybe a little bit longer. So I called them back, and they asked me, do you want to stay at home or do you want to come to the hospital? I said, can I come to the hospital? They said, yeah, sure, we're waiting. I went to the assessment center first, at the antenatal. And my husband wasn't allowed because of the virus situation in the world, so I had my backpack with me, like literally with just few things there, and I took only 1 bottle of water. So at some point, I texted my husband and I said, I'm thirsty, I want to drink, and he was passing water. Thanks God, the staff was very helpful in the hospital, so they did pass it. In general, staff is brilliant in a hospital, all of them. everybody from the very beginning till the very end. Supportive, helpful, um, everything. They do everything to make you feel better. In assessment center, they took a test for COVID as well. So they basically took a swab from mouth and nose. Oh yeah, the funny moment, the very funny moment. If you've seen my video about how I'm doing a pedicure at home, and I was saying like, oh, I don't want to go to the hospital with my toenails not done, like not looking nice. Uh, well, I was so wrong. I shouldn't waste my time on that. I shouldn't even put so much effort, because at some point, like literally within like first hour or two while I was there, they just put the compression socks on me, and that's it. All my pedicure was gone. It was hidden under the green compression socks. So don't do that. Don't be bothered to do that at all. They put monitors on my belly as well to measure my contractions, the strength of my contractions, and as well as to monitor ECG of the baby. And that's when her heart rate, I think, dropped or rised, and that's what made them concerned, because my cervix was open was 2 centimeters open that time. So the midwife told me like, oh, I'll be back, and she came back and she said, yeah, we're going to leave you in the hospital. They didn't tell me what happened. I've heard it later, so that's how I know that something uh, made them to leave me in the hospital at that stage. Otherwise, they would send me home. So they had some sort of concerns, but that was the only ones from the, like at the very beginning, and that's it. Nothing after. But yeah, then I was waiting until they would prepare room for me, and at that stage I absolutely had no idea why they need to prepare a room for me. But then yeah, it did make sense. Then they sent me to the birthing ward and into one room, and they were waiting. Basically they said, we're going to wait until your cervix is 4 centimeters. That's when officially it counts as active labor. And I asked them when my husband is going to be allowed. I said that's exactly when he's going to be allowed to come in. They check how wide cervix is open every 4 hours. At 7:45 my husband was allowed in, and in the hospital we arrived at 1:30 a.m. So basically after 6 hours, and that's when shortly after he came, they came with the results for coronavirus, and they said it's negative. While I was still on my own, they're offering painkillers. First they're offering paracetamol active. Never helped, never made any difference to me. I don't know why I agreed even to take it. Paracetamol never ever worked on me in my entire life. I don't know what I was dreaming about. Then also they're talking to you about pethidine, and that it's better to do not take it 4 hours before like delivery exactly. So that's the latest when you can take it. And I said, all right, if it's gonna be like, if the pain is gonna be stronger, I'll take it. Of course I did take it. I can't stand any pain in my entire life. I was saying like, when I'm gonna give birth, I'm gonna ask for epidural. But somehow when I was going to the midwife, they convinced me that I shouldn't be doing that. And I said, all right, then it's gonna be natural. And I regret about it. I was saying like, oh my god, I'm so silly. I never listened to myself. I knew I won't be able to stand this type of pain. Okay, yeah, after that, at some point they gave me injection of pethidine, and it made me sleepy. That's when I slept. That's actually what gave me a little bit of energy. I didn't want to eat. They actually were kind of like asking and pretty much forcing me to eat. They were saying, you have to. Well, if someone is telling me I have to do that. But honestly, I had, like, my husband went because everything is closed, everything. He went, he bought me some nuts, he bought me a chocolate, uh, I think Skittles, some sort of that kind of stuff. And he bought me, the chocolate was Kinder Bueno. It's one of my favorite chocolates ever. I do absolutely adore it. And honestly, it tasted so horrible. I thought nothing can be worse than that. Nothing tasted as good as it was before. I don't know what was wrong with my taste buds, but everything was absolutely disgustingly horrible in my mouth. I just didn't like anything. I didn't want it. I was just forcing myself to eat. I love nuts, don't like it. Kinder Bueno, didn't like it either. So, and to be honest with you, even now, I don't really want to eat not like nuts, and I don't really want to eat Kinder Bueno still. So let's see if one day I will go back. I'm sure I will go back to nuts. I'm not sure about Kinder Bueno, to be honest with you. So yeah, then what happened after? My cervix didn't open after 6 centimeters to 8 centimeters. So, and baby lowered and started to push, and that's when doctor came, had a look at everything, at ECG of the baby, at the strength of contractions, and assess the situation. And he said, in this kind of situation, I would recommend to do epidural. And especially in general, I don't really like to argue with medics. I think they know more, and I think they have more information than we do. So I just said, yeah, fine. And anyway, the other doctor who was doing epidural for me, he was a magician. Absolutely, it was so funny. He started doing that, and he's like, oh yeah, do the cat bag, and it's like, you have a pump here and everything, and it's so hard for you. And the moment when he, like, you have to stay still. You shouldn't be moving at that point. And he said, that's it, don't move, because that's when they're ready to get it in. And I'm saying, oh, the contraction is coming. And it was really, and I don't know how I survived it, how I held it. So nothing happened. I didn't move. And he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. It was so quick. It was so fast. Incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And he was funny. He said, like, oh, in 10 minutes you will love me a lot. And actually that was true. In 10 minutes I felt so good, because before that it was absolutely horrible when baby was pushing. So yeah, then oh yeah, why as well he recommended to do epidural, because they had to do a drip of the hormone, which is like similar to oxytocin. So the cervix, it opened after they've done a drip. And at some point, and I've been assessed in 4 hours again, and my cervix was already 10. And then another doctor, because actually like 3 shifts swapped, like changed while I was in labor, while I was in the hospital, let's put it that way. And the other lady, doctor, she said, okay, in 1 hour she will try to push 3 times, and then in 1 more hour we'll give birth. So it's because they're trying to understand, like, will you be able to do that having an epidural, because sometimes you can be so numb. Because as well, with the epidural they give you like a button which you can press every half an hour, and to get a dose of the painkillers inside your body. And I suppose, like, you can't press it more often than every half an hour. It's not going to work. You can press it, but it's not going to work. but I didn't need it so often. I was pressing my one every 1 hour and 15 minutes, something like that. And even then, the pain wasn't so like I didn't really felt the pain. I was just feeling like, oh, it's everything is slowly coming back. And because they were saying like, yeah, I shouldn't lose the moment that epidural ain't working anymore. So they were saying, yeah, you better press it like at least every like an hour and 15 minutes or so. So that's why I was pressing, because otherwise probably I would wait for another maybe 10 minutes or like a little bit longer. Yeah, that's why they want to make sure this like 3 times pushing and in an hour is, they want to make sure that you can do that, because I suppose otherwise they would say it's going to be a C-section. So yeah, we've tried. She said, my midwife said, you will do that in an hour. I was in labor. Yeah, and it all ended up because I think either it was because like it took already like for quite a long time for a baby being with no waters, or again there was some sort of I don't know, because I didn't heard that. I didn't notice that. It's my husband. He said that her that basically I think it's called a distressed baby. So that's when their heart rate again changes. So and at the very end it changes. They have to do something. They have to use either forceps or the, I don't know how it's called, but anyway. But doctor asked, what do you think about cut? And I said, if you need to do that, just do it. And that's what they've done. And after that, my baby was born. So yeah, that's how it went. And that was the most happiest moment in my entire life for now. Even all those like moments of the strong pain I had before I've got her in my hands, I mean laying on my skin, you think about them as about something really horrible, but then it fades. It absolutely fades, because I think you're getting so like, you become so happy. You just think like, oh, how could I live without this little one? Absolutely incredible how our body is constructed, that you just keep forgetting. If you will ask me today how painful it was, I can't really explain it. I can't really tell. It was painful, but at that moment I thought it's absolutely horrible, but now I can't recall it. So that's the funny thing about it. Oh yeah, and when I was on the monitors, they were checking them every 30 minutes. So the midwife, which was with me in my room, so basically midwife of my labor, she was checking the ECG of the baby every half an hour. And after she was doing that, she had to go take another one, and another one should have a look, and they both had to sign it. So it was always I think every half an hour or every hour, it should be like 1 or 2 people who had a look at it and said, yeah, everything is fine or everything is not fine. After epidural, like the most common complications are headache. I didn't have one. And back pain, because basically that's where they do it. And I did have a little bit, but just for like 2 days. Sometimes in some sort of movements I could feel a bit of discomfort, but not more than that. So yeah, that's it. That's how it went. It's absolutely worth it. It wasn't the best experience in my life, I would say. I mean, the whole process, the last bit is absolutely amazing. Is absolutely amazing.
We've been in a room with 4 beds, which was separated with blue curtains, which you could keep shut till 8 o'clock. After, they had to be open. That's me after, very tired but very happy. You can clearly tell I'm still smiling, even if I felt like I don't have energy at all. Yeah, that's how our bed looked like from the other side. We were by the window, so that wasn't so bad, to be honest with you.
We were out of the hospital same day, so I can't complain a lot. Yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.